Why do managers stink at managing change? Well, first, they misunderstand the nature of resistance. There's a tendency for managers too often in a lean initiative or any other change, but let's focus on lean initiatives, to imagine that, well, we're going to tell everybody what we've got in mind, we're going to teach them the tools, and they're going to run with the tools, and everything will be different and everything will be great. You don't understand that any change creates resistance. Any change creates, questioning, skepticism on the part. Any change, okay? So what managers don't understand is we have to have, as part of our initiative, how are we going to address resistance? Too often managers have in mind is, well, resistance is a sign that it's not working. Resistance is bad. We don't want resistance. We have to squelch or overcome resistance. No, you have to acknowledge resistance. You have to acknowledge it's going to happen, and you have to include methods for managing it, acknowledging and managing it in your change model. And we'll talk about that. Second, they underestimate how disruptive even small changes can be. Let's look back at that shadow board that I just talked about. That's about as small a change as you can imagine. We put a shadow board up and we say, hey, y'all put your tools up here instead of where you used to put them all around the shop floor. That's a disruptive change, because now technicians have to think, oh, I can't put it down here. I've got to take it over there. Okay. Small disruption, but disruption nonetheless. And then any lean initiative, as many of you I'm sure know, involve lots of changes that are more impactful than simply putting a shadow board on the wall in the plant. So even small changes can be disruptive. Third, managers tend to view organizations as kind of in an engineering way rather than a social way. If we set it up just right, if we tighten all the bolts down and have all the linkages just right, we have nothing to worry about. But that's not the way social systems operate. Machines don't question why they are having to do something. Engineered systems don't question what the benefits will be to them. Machines don't wonder how this change is going to affect the relationships that they built up over their years in the organization. People in social systems wonder about all of these things, and a lean initiative affects all of these things. So again, it comes back, it comes back to disruption, and it comes back to resistance. It's not that everybody in the organization is going to go, heck no, I'm not going to do this. But everybody in the organization will think through and wonder about and have questions about how the change will affect them, how the change will affect their colleagues, how the change will affect those relationships, how the change will affect their work. Okay. And so it's not enough just for managers to say, hey, we got big changes in mind. You're going to love it. See you later. Okay. Fourth thing is, they don't align change efforts. They don't seek to align change efforts with strategy. And I should have put this one first, because one of the things in any lean initiative folks will wonder about is, why are we doing this? What's the plan? What's the big plan that this fits into? And if management doesn't articulate why are we doing this, doesn't articulate how does this fit into our overall strategy, employees will fill in the gaps. Employees will get thinking, they haven't told us why we're doing this. I bet it's to get rid of us. I bet it's to reduce headcount. I bet it's to get more work out of us with less pay. And managers might think, how did they come up with that? We didn't talk about that at all. That's not it at all. Well, the reason they came up with it is because management didn't say, why are we doing it? I sat with a group of senior leaders one time. when I say senior leaders, I mean, over in that seat was the president and CEO. Over in that seat was the VP of Human Resources. There were two VPs of manufacturing. Over that seat was the head of, you get the idea, the top senior leadership of the organization, which had hired me to help implement what they call, total quality management. They called it total quality pursuit. And I remember sitting with them and going to a meeting with them one time. And I said, one of the things we need to talk about, the initiative had already been in motion for a while. What we need to talk about is how this initiative, how our total quality management initiative fits with the company's overall strategy. The response to my question was crickets, silence. I had all the senior leaders looking at me like I had just asked, is the moon made of blue cheese? Staring at me. No, you would have thought one of them would say something just to break the silence. Nothing. I asked them again, okay, we need to talk about just company strategy. We need to talk about this total quality management. We need to talk about how they're integrated because folks are wondering, folks are asking. Still silence. Finally, I just sat down. I said, okay, I see we're not ready to talk about it now, but we're going to need to talk about it eventually because it's an important component of everything that we're doing. So I was still at the meeting. The next item on the agenda was carrier pricing, trucking pricing. In that discussion, they were all leaning forward on their elbows in an energetic, I got the VP of Human Resources engaged in it, talking about carrier pricing. So see what I'm getting at there? When I asked, how does this initiative support and enhance and help the company's strategy, they couldn't answer the question. When initiatives aren't aligned with company strategy, folks pick up on that. It creates further resistance. And fifth, they don't have a model for change to guide their planning efforts.